We're recording.
Hi, everyone. It's Brian Flynn with the Brian Flynn Home Selling Team at Keller Williams. And here with me today is Andrew Marquis with Guaranteed Rate Mortgage and Liz Barletta Esquire with Legress Attorneys.
Hi,
and
how are
today,
you?
A great topic to talk about. We're going to talk about the catch-22, as we say in real estate. I want to buy a new home, which we call a move-up home, but I have to sell my house first. So a lot of people come to me and say, Brian, what do I do? And where do I start? Good question. And where do you start is to contact your real estate professional first, because that person is really going to be your point person in this complex transaction, but we're going to make it simplified. We're going to make it very, very simple for you, because you're going to be working with a team of professionals to guide you through this process. So your first thing would be to call your real estate professional, me. I come out, and at that point, I would give you a pretty accurate value of your home's worth. That's a start. Because then when I introduce you to your lender, Guaranteed Rate, Andrew Marquis, he's going to have an idea of how much money you're going to have to put down on your second home, your move-up home. So he's going to be able to pre-approve you, run you through underwriting. He's going to talk a lot more about that pretty soon. So you're going to be confident, you and your family are going to be confident going out and buying that second home. And the good news is that we're going to have one attorney to handle both transactions, your sale and your purchase. So everything is nice and tight. You're working with one team. So that's a little high level overview. So let's get back to the start. So I come out to your home, I give you a competitive market analysis. What that means in layman's terms is I show you the value of comparable homes in your area. From there, we get a pretty accurate opinion of your home's value. And from there, I give you the do's and don'ts of how to prepare your home for sale. So people say, well, Brian, we're in a spot. What do we do? How do we get the house ready for sale? We really want to buy a new home. We just had a new baby. Now we have 2 kids, a dog and a cat, and this place is too small. So usually when people have 2 kids, a dog and a cat, house starts getting a little worn, a little beat. But, there's really 3 things, just 3 minor things that you have to do to get your home ready for sale. Okay, they're the ABCs in getting your home ready to sell in real estate. A, your landscaping, right? Didn't your mom say first impressions go a long way? True when selling your house. First impressions, you want that landscaping looking nice and spiffy. Okay, easy fix. 2, the inside of your home, the painting. If you've been there a while in your first home, it's probably a little dull. You probably haven't painted it since you moved in. Maybe you moved in and you painted it, but you've been there 10 years, you had a couple of kids, again, a dog or 2, some pets. You're not seeing it because you live there, but it probably needs a little freshen up. And this is an inexpensive way to get your house to really pop, like really pop. You want those new buyers to walk into your home and you want it to pop. Okay, and third is the flooring. Okay, so a lot of people have hardwood floors or carpet. And again, they're very worn. A lot of times they're worn and you don't see it because you're living there and you get all your furniture over it. And let's face it, it would be a hassle, right? Who wants to bring in a floor guy when you have your beautiful dining room table and your living room set over your floors? But now's the time to do it, when you're moving, or polyurethane the floors or sand them. And the carpets, a lot of times at least shampooed or probably torn up and replaced. So those 3 repairs are really the inexpensive types of repairs to get the biggest bang for your buck when you're going to resell your home. I mean, actually, I've seen those 3 simple repairs generate tens of thousands in return. And to do that, you're probably looking at a budget 5 to 10,000, say 10 high, and I'm talking tens of thousands in return of how nice your home's going to look when you resell. Okay. I'm not going to come in and recommend major repairs, new kitchens, new baths, etc. You know, I might give some suggestions on how you could spiff those up, you know, changing some hardware, etc. on cabinets, but no major repairs. All right. So then we're going to have an idea, and then I'm going to shift you, you know, to meet a lender, because you, to get you get approved on that new home you want to buy, you're going to know what you can afford. So Andrew, why don't you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Brian. And I think, you know, this is really one of my favorite topics, because I think so many people in the market right now, they want to buy another property, they want to sell theirs, but can they buy first? Do they have to sell first? Do they have to move twice? You know, it's really a quandary that a lot of folks are dealing with, especially with the pandemic. You know, we find a lot of people in the city right now are outgrowing their place, like you said, with the iguana, the turtle, the dog, the cat. No. But, you know, really, so it's, you know, from a financing perspective for us, it's how can we work with your team? You know, I bought and sold maybe about 5 years ago now. And I have to tell you, even being in the business and having the level of knowledge I have and everything else, it's very stressful. You know, it's really like to have to be like moving all your stuff, and you got a couple of kids, and, you know, everything's happening on the same day. You know, like if you're not working with an awesome realtor like Brian and his team, a great attorney, Liz, that can handle the sell and the buy side at the same time, and a lender that knows how to make the whole thing go timing wise, it's super stressful. So I just want to kind of warn everyone, like it's really important in that instance to have the team approach. But really what I look at, and Brian kind of mentioned some of these items already, is we're going to look at, do you have some equity in your current home? You know, if you have good equity in your current home, maybe we can borrow against that equity before you sell the house. Maybe you can get a line of credit. Maybe you can refinance. You know, maybe we can use some of that equity to subsidize a down payment before you sell the house. Because, you know, there are some folks that can't buy until they sell, and they're either going to have to sell their house first, you know, live with family for a little bit. They might do a listing with Brian where Brian works in a use and occupancy or a lease back agreement where they sell, they close, but then they can stay in their house for another month or two before they buy. So there's a lot of different strategies here, but I think the ideal approach that a lot of people like is if I can pre-approve them to buy before they sell by getting their hands on some liquidity based on their equity. Maybe they have some savings, maybe family can spot them a down payment. And if they have the income to be able to qualify for a new house before they sell, Brian can find them the best possible home, you know, to fit their family. You know, they can go from that 2-bed condo to that 4-bedroom suburban home. And then we pick that home, we put that home under agreement. You know, Brian might say, hey, let's try to close in 60 days. And then the moment we get that property under agreement, he's going to work with you, you know, and he's going to give you a list of like, hey, these are the things we have to do to your house that are going to return the best dollar. You know, like let's not install a pool where it's going to cost us twice what we're going to get in return. But, you know, if we refinish the floors, do a little painting, you know, maybe update the garage doors, whatever it is, just a few things to give it that pop. You know, then you find the property, you're under agreement, Brian lists you, we have you approved, you know, maybe we close the same day, maybe we close the purchase first. You know, really the confusing thing is like, well, where's all the money going? Am I going to like get this money and then I got to draw another check? And like, they're all like, you know, confused. And it's like, no, you're working with Ligris and Liz. Liz is going to get the proceeds of your sale. She's going to directly apply those to the purchase. You're going to bring the net to your closing. You know, she's going to make it super easy for you to do both at the same time. So I think, you know, anything else, Brian, that you'd like me to mention from a financial perspective, or is that really kind of the approach we take?
Those are just all great ideas, points I was going to bring up. So you really touched on so many different great strategies that we've implemented in the past. You know, the lease back where you get to stay in your home. Also, most of the time when I'm listing your home and you need to buy a home, we'll put subject to seller finding suitable housing. Mm-hmm. But there's a limit, you know, so a lot of times we'll schedule a 60 or even a 90-day close to give you time to find that new home. Now, there has to be a limit because the people buying your house want to know they're going to be able to close on your home. And as you would probably bring up, Andrew, we don't want anyone losing their rate lock.
Yep.
which is
Yep.
the rate that you pre-approve them at. We want to make sure that's still intact and that doesn't move.
Yeah.
And the beauty about it is that to keep everything streamlined, the attorney representing you on the sale is also going to be the attorney representing you on the purchase, Liz Barletta. So Liz, why don't you talk about how you keep all that coordinated and make it stress-free as possible?
Yes.
Can you really make it stress-free?
As much as we can. We try really, really hard. So one of the things that we do in representing you on the sale as well as your purchase is we'll try and take as much work off your plate for your sale. So the majority of our clients end up never going to closing when selling their home. It just has become over the years not typical for sellers to actually attend closing, generally for a multitude of reasons. Time, you're going to be signing 10 documents. Are you going to take half a day off work to go sign 10 documents? Or are you going to do the document signing in advance and we'll attend for you? So that's what the majority of the time when we're representing a seller is we'll prepare all of the documents that need to be executed by you, the seller, in advance. That way, myself or a team member will attend your sale closing for you under a power of attorney. And that way, the only thing you have to be thinking about that day, if you're doing it simultaneously on the same day, is your purchase closing. So let's say we are closing same day, and I'll always let the other side's attorney for the buyer of your home know that you are doing a simultaneous close that day. So they can schedule that first closing as early as possible in the morning. That way, let's say 9 a.m., somebody from my office is there to sign for you for the sale. Once the closing gets recorded, meaning that deed gets registered with the county, then that buyer attorney's office is going to wire the proceeds, everything that you're making on that sale, directly to our client funds account. This also eliminates having to send the money to you and then you having to go to the bank to send it right back to us. So we skip a step. So that makes things easier too. So we know that when the sale goes through, the funds will get to my account. In the event, like Andrew mentioned, if there is some more money that you need to bring to closing, we'll be able to figure out how much that is beforehand. So we can say, okay, there's 10,000 left that you need. You're going to bring your certified check for that 10,000 to my office, and the combination of your sale proceeds plus that 10, you're good to go. And then you'll meet with us. Unfortunately, COVID hasn't really eliminated that part of the closing process. We still must do the closing in person. So you'll visit us at the office. We'll sign the important documents, submit everything for recording, and pray to the registry gods that everything gets on record that same time. That is, I think, the most stressful part is if you can imagine, we're waiting for a wire from your sale. Without that wire, we can't record. So that's the trickiest part of the simultaneous close on the same day, because if for some reason there's a delay of recording of the first, there's a delay of the wire of your funds, and then there could be a delay of recording of your purchase. So that's why I always, oftentimes I would say we have a really, really good track record of getting on record that day without a problem. But there are some strategies that we can put in place to plan just in case we don't make it to record. One thing I always tell clients, see if you have some kind of family or friends, somebody you can stay with just in case. Maybe it's a hotel. You're gonna have throw the kids in the pool at the hotel so they can have fun through a stressful time of the sale. If that's not something that works for you, then one of the things that we'll also ask the seller's attorney for the home you're purchasing is what's called the use and occupancy agreement. I know that was mentioned briefly. Basically giving you the ability to move in without the documents officially being of record. So you're not officially the owner yet, but they're going to give you the ability to move in. And oftentimes there is always once in a while that we find a seller out there who's been burned in the past or doesn't trust it. So, that's why I always like to have that secondary option of a hotel or family or friends. But more often than not, if it's because we missed a cutoff at the registry because, we were waiting for funds or whatever it is, oftentimes we do get the other side's clients to approve you moving in anyway, because it's going to go to record the next morning. So oftentimes people are pretty flexible when it comes to that, but I always like to prepare for the worst just in case. So that's how we kind of fit in the whole process of the buying, selling, especially the same day. Did I answer everything?
That was fabulously informational, Liz. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I think that alleviates a lot of people's questions. Andrew, fantastic. So I'd just like to add, when you hire the Brian Flynn team and my team of professionals, Andrew Marquis and Liz Barletta, we're going to make this, we're going to relieve as much stress as possible. We're going to make it happen. Even these vendors, the rug, the hardwood floor guy, the painters, the landscapers, we have vendors that have been thoroughly vetted by me that we're going to refer to you. So we keep, even the junk removal person, okay, has been vetted by me myself before we recommend these people. So we're, I'm sort of your point person. The realtor's always the point person to say, okay, here's my trusted lender, here's my trusted attorney, and even these other vendors are trusted by me that we're going to make this process happen because you need it to happen. You just had another baby like Liz. Liz just had a baby girl, Penny. Liz is going to be a move-up buyer. She's going to be in the same position as you.
That's
So
right. And
you're not alone.
Still stressful, but with a great team like this, how can you go wrong?
And what I like what you guys are saying is, both of what you're saying is we take as much of the stress and shoulder the burden for you. And that's really what Brian's offering here. And I wish I had that, because I'll tell you, when I was doing the buy sell, it was very stressful. And, to have all those vendors at your fingertips, Brian, and really just kind of take a lot of it on is awesome,
Right. So, we'll coordinate this. You work with a team of professionals. I think the biggest mistake you could make is going out and having one attorney represent you on the sale and another attorney represent you on the purchase. You bring in so many people into what could be a complicated process. You're making your life more difficult. Not only that, there is a cost savings we won't get into here by staying with one firm. And Liz works very closely with Guaranteed Rate and Andrew Marquis. So it's nice and tight. And people, if you go onto Zillow.com and look Brian Flynn team, just type in my name, Brian Flynn, you'll see 119 5-star reviews, not even 1 4, like all 5. And those are vetted very thoroughly. Like, it'd be normal, right, to have someone trash you. That's normal, right? Right, Andrew? You've probably seen that, right? Liz, maybe,
hard to please everyone, Brian.
Yeah.
Right, hard to please everyone, but we have all 5-star reviews. Like, I would understand if I had a 1-star review from someone or a 4, but I don't. So there's a reason for that. It's over 25 years experience and associating with these 2 top professionals. There's no way I would recommend anyone. Okay, so before profit comes my customer satisfaction, way before profit. So I do not recommend Andrew and Liz lightly. They've been with me each for 10 years, okay? I recommend them because they're top, and you can look at their reviews too. Top of the line professionals. So this is why. Like, I don't let anyone in my circle, okay? That's why we have all 5-star reviews. It's always the customer comes first. You reap what you sow. It's not profits. Profits come later. Everyone wants to make money, but it's the customers being happy and referring their friends. And they refer a lot of friends to the Brian Flynn team, Andrew Marquis, and Liz Barletta. So thank you all for watching today. I hope this was informative. We can send it out to you if you want to watch it again. I think Liz is going to create a link. And also, if you need any reports, I have lots of reports, like 27 tips to sell your home fast and for top dollar, 6 buyer mistakes to avoid. A lot of that would tie into Andrew. But if you need those, just text me, email me. Either one of the 3 of us will send that out to you ASAP. And I think, look, we stayed on time. We did this in less than 30 minutes. We actually did it in 25 minutes. We gave you a ton of information of how to sell your home, how to buy a home when you have to sell a home first. And if you need a one-on-one with us, I'm talking, we'll set up a Zoom for you and the 3 of us together. Your family, husband, wife, whatever, spouse, whoever it is, and we'll do it just for you, a private showing. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Thank you.